Okay, so welcome back. Let's go ahead and deal with our main scene now. So I can now unload the scene. Okay. First I have to load this scene, then unload this scene. And so we're working with our main. Pretty much the same thing. In our main, we want to create in our main scene, let's go ahead and we'll be working with our UI as well. So let's go zoom into our camera and there's our main scene. All right. So what we will do here is we'll go to our sprites and we can literally drag it in. We don't have to create a UI intervention. But here's what we will be only working in the UI for this project. So let's go ahead and create a UI canvas like before. Here, right click, go to right click, go to right, and here right click, create to the UD UI. You're going to create a background image. So notice when you create an image, it creates the canvas automatically, and the image fills it automatically as well. So that's the advantage of doing it that way. Uh, I am not going to do it like that actually, because this is now, if I look at the canvas, it's at the bottom side, bottom end here. Alright, we can work with it still. Alright, so there's our image, right? And to our image, we want to add a sprite. Let's add the sprite. So this will be our background for our game. Alright, it looks pretty good because this one is scaled up. Alright, so we also want to add another image. So call this background BG. We want this to be child of the other one? No, we want it to be a sibling. So we go ahead and go UI image again. Here it is. I want it to be where I put my scroll. So I want the scroll to be around that size. I want it to be pretty big, but not to be overly. And that works for me. So here we will drag our scroll, and there we have it, nicely done. Let's go ahead and do a button for next and a button for previous. So go ahead and we'll do here, right click, UI, we go ahead and do a button. So this is going to be our next button down here. And let's go ahead and have the text be, so we change the text by going here, we'll change this to next. Alright, again let's do the same font as we did before, which I think was this one. So let's change that to next. Great. Maybe we can do auto size this time. Right, auto size works this time. And let's the background of the button, I say let the color be a little more transparent than that. And so we deal with this here. We make the alpha less, and of course the text color ought to be yellow, because yellow tends to pop against the black. Alright, so put this down here. Alright, so there we have it. Next. So our next button, and I think I'm good with that, but we also need we have our image, we have a canvas, we have the next one. So the next button I want it to be also an independent thing outside of the No, we want it to be in the canvas, but below the image. All right, so there it is. So this image we'll call it scroll, scroll. Right. So in the scroll we will have some text. So let's go ahead and add that to the scroll UI, and we will go with text mesh pro. We'll call this dialog, dial dialog, and then we'll add another one called input. So go ahead, UI text mesh pro, and we'll call this input. Great. Now these two are actually linked, parent child. We don't want that. We want it to be a separate entity unto itself. And so we have dialog and then we have input. So dialog, we'll keep dialog. Let's move input down. So we'll move input by using the move tool here and move it down like so. Dialog, we can move dialog up. And I like the font, this font for dialog. So let's go ahead and add that in here. In terms of color, on top of this is supposedly supposed to be like papyrus, and so maybe we can change the color of that text to dialog. Right, so let's change the color for text color to sort of burnt, yeah, burnt orange sort of deal, maybe brown. I want it to pop enough so that it doesn't overly, so you can still see it. So right, we have our stuff there. Great. In fact, we don't have to have anything here, but I want to just go welcome to my game. Welcome to, I'll put the game for a reason because you'll see later. Game. Welcome to the game. So, couple things with this. I want this to be on one line. That's one. But this is troublesome how far down this is, because we will have some instructions that will be maybe 2 or 3 lines, and I don't want it to encroach on this area. So what do we do? Actually, this ought not be this. This should be deleted. And I'll tell you why. Because we didn't use an input text, so we want to change that to an input text. All right. So let's go ahead and reduce the distance between the lines. To do that, we just go down to here, line. So basically, we could scrub this up, up, and that's a lot better. So in terms of when we have multi-line instructions, it will not encroach down below where the other text should be. So let's go ahead and create that other text now. So it's UI, but the mistake I made, not you, I made was I used text object, but we want an input field. Right, so this is the input field. I'm going to bring this and put it at the very bottom. I'm going to change the placeholder text. So this is a text area, it has a placeholder. The placeholder is saying enter text. I am not going to have enter text. Rather, I'm going to put enter result. Actually, just because we want it to be perfectly clear, it's a number. Enter number. And 3 dots is an ellipsis. And alright, so let's go ahead and make sure everything works well here. Enter number, we want it to be centered. No, we also want this to be centered. Alright, we want the color to be, for this, black. Let's go ahead with black. Full black. Alright. And Yeah, oh, let's go ahead and add a font. So instead of for a placeholder, let's just zoom into a placeholder. Alright, so this is using Liberation Sans. Let's add this guy to it. So now it is, no, that's the wrong guy. This guy to it. So now it looks a little more in keeping with the theme. Let's do the same here. And so now if the person types in, let's say 25, 25, 31. Right. So now that is in the center. We can do auto size, so it's always as big. Go ahead, do auto size right the number as well. Perfect. So here we'll go ahead and delete this. Maybe with our text area, with our input field, the color of the background, we can make it a little less obvious, like so. But that works for me. All right. Welcome to the game. Notice we said welcome to the game. So we've done a pretty good job so far of setting up the game. So we will go with our splash. As the game starts with our splash, what will happen? Game will start. We will then say welcome to the game, and then you'll hit next, and then this should change. Then you'll follow the instructions that follow. So same thing here, we need to add a script component here. Let's go ahead and add a script component, and we'll call this Merlin. Create an add. Where is it? We know it is going to be in our assets. We'll drag Merlin into our scripts. In our scripts folder, we have Merlin. We'll double click that, and here we go. We are off to the races. We have our splash still here available, and now we have Merlin. So all right, let's see some of the things that we want to link to our editor. Some of the things that we want to link to our editor would be our dialog text. So we will make it public. It's a type TMP RO, but this is going to be a text component. Sorry, TMP RO underscore TMP, oh, TMP underscore, right, TMP text. There we go. And we'll call this dialog, dialog. Great. Let's do another one, public TMP, and it's going to be an input field, which is our input. All right. Then we'll have a button. Oh, public button type, and it's going to be called next button, BTN. All right. So we do this before the start. So notice when you create any class, we have two functions that come along with the class. This is start and this is update. This function fires at every rendering of the screen. So basically your frame rate, depending from your computer, how fast the computer is, this varies. All right. So in future videos, I'll tell you about unfixed update to combat that unwanted, sometimes unwanted behavior. But yeah, just know that this will fire every time the frame renders by your computer's GPU. So faster computers will have a faster frame rate, and so on and so forth. All right. This this script exists on a game object. Once the game loads, anything that this script is on if it's loaded into the game, this begins the fire. So this is once the game loads and it starts, game starts, anything you want to take place, you can put it inside here. So this will fire every time a game object with this script starts up. All right. So when it starts up, when our main scene starts up, our canvas will start up, and so we want to do some stuff to this. Actually, I want to create another one called instructions. Public, actually we'll call it prompts. Public. So this is how we're going to create a string array. An array is basically a list, and a string array is a list of strings. And what is a string? Is just a bunch of text, words that form a sentence, or words alone, or even characters. All right, printable objects are what we call strings. All right, so we have public. We're going to do a string array, and so we'll use the array symbol like that, and we'll call this. So this is the so it's public because we're going to be basically, actually we don't need this to be public because we want this only, we'll be only referring to this variable that we create within this class. If we want to refer it, have it referred externally, we make it public. So you could have it private or protected, that's fine, but this one we'll call it private, and we'll call it prompts, prompts, and we will make it a string array. As I said before, it's a list, and so I've already prepared that list. Let me pull it up. So here it is. I will provide you a copy of this in the description of the video. But yeah, so basically this is the game. It starts with welcome to my game. The person presses next. Pick a number between 1 and 100. When the person is finished, he presses next. Multiply, and follows all of this, finally ending by putting the number in the space provided. So maybe I should have added that. We'll add it in our code. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it into our code. Meantime, if you want, you can pause the video, or you can go to the description and get the list there. Alright, so I've copied it to my clipboard, and I'm now going to be pasting it in here. Alright, so we seem to have some problems. Prompts, alright, so I think issue is with this and this and this. Actually, no, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. I think it's the actual quotations used is wrong, which is pretty funny. So if I delete this and put this, and I take this and drag that in here, that's yeah, because PowerPoint apparently uses the other kinds of quotes. So I'll pause, and I'll fix this and get back and come back. Alright, so yeah, I've fixed it. Welcome to my game. Pick a number, multiply, etc. Alright, great. So our prompts, we have our start. So What we want to do is listen to our next button. Remember how we've done that? We've done that before. Let's have it in here. We need to listen to the on-click event. So we go next button, dot on-click, and actually, right, dot add listener. And let's create a listener called go next. All right, simple enough. Semicolon. And let's use a little helper to create that method for us, save some time. And there we go. All right, so first things first, as the game starts, I wanted to display the first element of my prompts string array. So I want the dialog to display the first element of my prompts string array. How do I do that? I say dialog. So dialog now refers to the top text component that we created that has a text property, and we want to equate that to prompts. This guy, prompts, and we want the first element. Remember we said arrays are 0 index, so the first one is element 0. So this helper is actually correct. So this now will, when the game loads, automatically it will be set to this first element here. Welcome to my game, and it starts. But here what's happening, when you click next now, what happens? So when you click next, let's make sure it doesn't go beyond. So how many elements do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, what element is this? Since it's 0 index, this is element 7. Yeah, because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be element 7. So if it's element 7, we are saying we're going to write a conditional. If we need to create an integer for current index. Alright, at the very start, we'll say that integer is current index is 0. So we're saying that it's going to be the first index, and instead of using this, we can use now current index. Great. So now we're saying if the current index is less than prompts dot length, which will give me 7 minus 1. So if it's less than the other one, less than 6, only if it's less than 6, mind you, then we can increase the current index by 1. So there are different ways to do this. The shortcut method is plus plus. This is what we call incrementing. Alright, there are different ways you can do this. You could have done it like this, current index plus equals 1. Alright, and actually you could have also done it as current index equals the current index plus 1. So this one you might make more sense to people who are new to coding, because basically you're saying take whatever the current index is, add 1 to it, and put it back into that variable called current index. Alright, so this is the shorthand for that. Alright, good. And if it's not, what we will do is this, else we'll make it start over. So let's say the person just goes beyond and it's on the last. Actually, we don't want you to do anything because we want to now listen to our input. So at this point, you'll say else, yes, you're right, else. So at this point, so when you're finished and the person presses next, type in your result and press enter. So what we'll do is we'll take this off from here, Control X, and what we'll say is, so if it's done, press the right when you finally minus the year you were born. What we will do here is we'll say, okay, great, you've done all of that. Let's go ahead and say dialog.text is equal to, and actually here we'll put that back in. Control Z, Control Z. We'll put that back in, Control V here. So then we'll say this, and what we will do now is we will now add a listener to our input. Input on submit. Add listener, and this will be our listener, and what will be our listener? Our listener will say, let's call it we will call this calculate result. Alright, naturally we need to create this. So let's hover, go ahead, and we want calculate result. Great. So here we go. This is actually going to take an argument. We won't even take an argument, we'll just go calculate result. String arguments. Oh, so this is what will be submitted. Well, we will ignore this because we won't be using that anyway. So once you submit, what we'll do here is we'll say input text. Alright, so you'll say here result string, and this is going to be a string object, string result string is equal to input text. Alright, so what we will do here, we'll say int result is equal to int 32 dot parse. So this is how we're converting that string that the person typed in, because all input fields will be converted to strings. They'll be interpreted by the compiler, by the program as a string. So we need to now convert it to an integer data type, parse, and we'll parse result string. So now we have it as a number. We can do some cool stuff. We can say now the age of the person and the number. You can now calculate the age of the person, and you can also calculate the number that they chose. So the number that they chose is basically the result divided by 100. So we'll say magic number. We'll call it magic number, int magic number is equal to result divided by 100. And int age is equal to the result modulo 100. What is modulo? Simply put, modulo is the result you get when you divide by 100. So basically, it is the remainder. So if I have 515, when I divide 515 by 100, the result is 15. So it's really the last two digits. The last two digits. Great. So that's your age. And that's it. So now we have calculated the result. What we will do now is display that. All right. So we'll just do that for now. We'll just display it as the dialog. So you'll say dialog dot text equals the number you picked was, we will now add to that our magic number variable. Then we'll add and your age this year will be plus age. There you have it. Save this. Let's look for any errors. No errors. And let's hop back on to our edit. So let's check out the fruits of our labor. And let's hit play. No errors. Oh, we should have errors, shouldn't we? We should have a lot of errors, because we have not linked anything as yet. And there's a reason for that. Let's make sure we've linked everything. So on our canvas, notice we need to add and link these three components. So we have a dialog, and we have that inside of our scroll. So we'll take our dialog and we'll put it in here. We'll take our input field and we'll put that inside of here. And our button, we will put that inside here. So now we should have actually named this, but okay, that's fine. Alright, so let's make sure our fonts and everything, yeah, I think we figured that out. Now when we go ahead and do this, we should get, now notice the default is welcome to the game, but now it turns to welcome to my game. Why? Because it's using the script rather than what we wrote. Welcome to my game. Hit next, and nothing happens. Oh, there's a reason for that. Alright, so the reason is simple. When you hit next, this should increase, yes, but then we should also do this. Copy this and put this here. Right, so when you increase the index, then we need to update the dialog text. It's as simple as that, and we shouldn't have any problems after. Right. Alright, so let's see if that fixed the problem. Play. And here we go. So we are welcome to my game. Next. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Next. Multiply by 5. Good. Add 100. Good. Multiply the result by 20. Good. Now add 23. Good. Finally, minus the full year that you were born. Good. Type in your result in the space provided and press enter. Good. And so here, if I put 15, 25, so the first two digits represents the number the magic number, and the last two digits should be my age. So I should see in the prompt next, I should see the number I picked was 15 and my age is 25, and it is not working. Oh, I have to press enter. So we are listening for the on submit. So remember, that's why I said, and press enter. So press enter. Right, the number you picked was 15 and your age will be 25. It works, it works. All right. In the next video, we will tie it all together. We'll actually carry this across to the other scene. So we will be passing data from scene to another scene, from one scene to another, and this is going to be pretty cool. Could probably improve the UI a little bit, in that rather than have it left aligned, we can have it centered. So I'll see you in the next video.